Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So the drawing I'm doing in the background is a panel for my comic Paged Away. And today I'll be speaking about my comic, which is on Webtoons and Tapas. And you know how it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Every now and then, when I read my comic script, I worry that my story isn't good enough. But I have to keep reminding myself, this is my first long-form comic, and it's okay that I'm making mistakes, because I'm learning from them. I keep comparing my art to others, worrying that it doesn't look as polished as theirs. And imposter syndrome sucks. I just need to remember, this is a hobby. I'm not being paid for this. My comic won't be perfect, that's okay. Sometimes I do get the itch to go back and redraw and rewrite episodes to make them perfect. Sometimes I look at my art and wonder, what if it looks more like this or more like that? And I've restarted my own comic a ridiculous amount of time. And it's changed genres, plot, and lore. I started this comic in 2015, and it's got me up till now, June 2021, to, start it. Well, I started it in May, but... And like I said, I never got past the scripting phase till this current version. I'm proud of myself. I remember right when I started my comic for the upteenth time, I'm constantly watching lots of comic tips from any channel I could get my hands on, and I took all their words as gospel. One particular advice I heard over and over was, start a small comic before you start your main one. And of course that advice is meant in earnest. This one is slightly polarizing, and around half the people I talked to about this actually like it and followed it. But some, like me, dislike it. So yeah, I disagree quite a lot with it. And to be fair, I may have overthought the advice. I do have a little bit of a habit of overthinking things like instructions and whatever. But for me, the advice didn't work well. Because like I said, I'm an overthinker. I'm also a perfectionist. That being said, I did make some small 1 or 2 page comics. I still felt intimidated with my main comic, Paged Away. And for the longest time, I did avoid working on my comic. So I thought I wasn't good enough at writing or storytelling or paneling, drawing, like everything to do with comics. And by late 2019, probably around October time, I was like, you know what, let's just do it. And I got to work on my comic, and I haven't looked back since. And yeah, when I tried to work with the whole vertical format thing, that was at first very painful and frustrating. I eventually got used to the whole vertical format, and now I love it. And I do keep stumbling into plot holes and moments where I'm like, oh no, how do I progress the plot? But I persevere by getting inspired by comic artists I like and doing lots of research. One comic I love is called Perfidia, and it's beautiful, and I love it. At the moment, it is on a hiatus, but it will come back. I know that the creator, Arleedraws, is going to reboot it, so I'm looking forward to that, because it's so pretty. I go back and reread panels and episodes, because it's just so pretty. I'll link it in the description. And definitely when I get stuck on paneling, thumbnailing, or pacing my comic, I go and read some other comics, take mental notes on how they paste panels and done little cinematic shots and stuff. I also have a handy little notebook where I redraw some panels that look a bit wonky. And that helps a lot. And yeah, sometimes advice you hear isn't always a one-size-fits-all, and that's okay. By trying out different advice and seeing if it doesn't fit you and then experimenting a little bit with it, that works. So like I said, initially started my comic in 2016. I have lost count of all the scraps and rewrites and characters I've thrown away and everything. I even threw away like a good 99% of my world building as well. And I got really into world building. I didn't know what I was doing with the plot, so I was like, oh, world building, let's do that. I've also drawn the first page at least 10 different times. Because at the previous versions, they were all page format. But now it's like a episodic vertical format. So it's all scrolly. And yeah, there's a fine line between redoing something to make it better and redoing something because you're being too hard on yourself. And I've definitely been too hard on myself. Every now and then, when I'm stuck on a plot or something, or sometimes also go and read my old scripts or my old world building notes. They're no longer part of the plot. And sometimes I find gems I can reincorporate into my story. And sometimes I look back on my old script and wonder why I hated it so much at the time. Because it was actually not that bad. Being a perfectionist can be like wearing hate-tinted glasses where like everything you see is like bad and like you need to nitpick it to death. But once you take those glasses off, you realize your work isn't that bad. Anyways, thank you for watching. And I have one question to ask you. Are you also a perfectionist? Also, if you want to read my comic Paged Away, you can find it on Webtoons and Tapas, and the links will be in the description as well as a pinned comment. And if you want to see more of my art, you can see it on Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr, and my usernames on there are @Gleamiarts. Bye!